Hello friends, it's Kelly Pullum here, also known as Craft and Granny. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In Canada, and I love to teach others how to explore creativity with our amazing Stampin' Up! Products. Tonight I'm using the Darling Details bundle for our cards. I'm going to make two, so you'll want to make sure you stay for both of them. And I'm going to be using particularly the frame dies that go with this set. So they're a lot of fun to use, and I'm going to show you how they're very easy. I want to let you know about some things that are coming up. First of all, I'm doing some in-person classes at the Parkside Centre in Sudbury, Ontario on September 19th, October 24th, and November 21st at 1 p.m. And the cost is 3 cards for $20. I'm also doing a class for very, very beginners at the Sudbury South End Public Library, and that's October 3rd at 1 p.m. and that's just that's free, but it is for real beginners. We'll just be introducing people to stamping and making a very simple card that day. Okay, another thing I need to mention, there will be no live on Tuesday, September 26th. My husband and I will be away. We're going to a campground where the Wi-Fi is spotty at best and usually non-existent. So I won't be doing a live that night. However, on that Friday, I will be doing a paper pumpkin unboxing. So I'm going to open the paper pumpkin kit for the month of September and just introduce people a little bit to what paper pumpkin is all about. So I'm hoping that you can join me on that Friday instead of on the Tuesday. And I think that is it for my notes. Hi Tracy, hi Jeanette, great to see you. I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, I'm going to switch us over to the table view here. There we go. And now you can see what we're going to be working on. So the first card that I'm going to make tonight, I'm doing it in a portrait style. That means I've cut the card base to 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And this is kind of my favorite. I'm not sure just why I tend to like cards in this style, but I do. I'm using Night of Navy here, and I've already embossed a layer. I did some of these things ahead because I'm making 2 cards. I wanted to make sure that I didn't get, take too long. So I've taken this is 4 by 5 1/4, and I embossed it. And this is the embossing folder that goes with the Countryside Suite. And I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's in the Countryside Suite. Okay, so we're going to just take this embossed white cardstock, and I'm going to just apply that here with my Stampin' Seal. I've got a very sore shoulder here, so I'm feeling a little awkward even just using the tape runner is putting a strain on that shoulder. Isn't that crazy? All right, so here we go. So this is the front. Now, I've cut some designer series paper to go under here as well. I have, first of all, I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, and it is 2 by 5. And then I have a piece of designer series paper that is 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. And I'm just going to put those together. Hi Nancy, you made it. That's awesome. So here we go. And I've got this piece of cardstock. It is, I think, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. Did I get that right? Oh, 2 1/4 by 4 3/8. And this is 2 1/8 by, oh, thank you, Tracy. You can be my assistant tonight. Yeah, so this is 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. And I'm just going to put that on top of this other layer. Oh, there goes that shoulder. It does not want to work. It doesn't like it when I use it to put pressure. Ah, there we go. I don't know what I did to it, but a few days ago, I just injured it and I was in agony. It's like a pinched nerve or something. My son said it's like a stinger that they get in football, but I haven't been playing any football, I assure you of that. Okay, so now I'm going to take, oh, Tracy, that's wonderful. So now I'm going to take these, you got that embossing folder. I'm going to layer these Designer Series paper pieces over top of the cardstock, and this one is overlapping, so I did not worry about how wide it was. If you had a piece, I literally had a piece of cardstock that I was using up, and so that's what I did. That's how come it's that wide. So I'm going to come in just about 1/4 of an inch here, make it about the same top and bottom. And there we go. And then the second piece. Oh. Is going to be layered about 1/4 of an inch in, and there's just a little bit showing top and bottom here. Okay, and there is that. Shift that over just a titch there. Okay, so now I have my frame, and my frame, the interesting thing about these frames, the dies do not cut out the outline. So you have to cut your rectangle, then you lay the die on top, and then you're cutting out the middle. So that is a little different. So my cardstock piece is 2 3/4 by 4, and then I laid my dies on top and cut that out. And then for this piece, I literally did a 1/16 of an inch smaller in both directions, so that this is just ever so slightly smaller, so when I go to place it behind, I know there's not going to be any white showing out from behind. Just a 1/16 of an inch smaller. So now I'm going to take this white piece and do some stamping on it. And I'm going to take this piece and do some stamping for inside the card. And I seem to have brought everything to the party except the stamp set. Isn't that funny? Okay. The good thing about this little craft room is it's not far to get anywhere in it. I can just roll around on my little chair here and go wherever. So I'm going to take this outline stamp. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the colored one for inside. I'm also going to use the stem and the leaf and the inside of the leaf. Okay, and for my sentiment, I did hello there on the first one. I think I might do thank you on this one. They're kind of the same size, so I can self-stitch it here. There. Okay, now just grabbing my acrylic blocks so I'm ready to play. So we're going to put this one. Now here's a little tip for you. Oh, I shifted here. Here's a little tip for you. When you're putting a long, narrow stamp on a block, don't put the stamp on the block. Lay the stamp down and pick it up with the block, because you get the natural shape of the stamp here. Otherwise, I might make this shape different than what I want it to be. Okay, so here we go. Just going to put these all on here. Okay, so I'm going to do the outside first. I'm going to start off with my stem, and I'm going to do that in garden green to match my designer series paper. Now I don't have to go right down to the bottom because my little scallop is going to be there. So I'm actually going to come up a little bit here, and I should have my foam mat, but I don't. But I think I can get away with it. We'll see if I'm right. Okay, then I'm going to put my little leaf on here. And because these are clear, you can see through to do this. Now for this one, I'm going to ink it with the garden green, and I think I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on here. There we go. Sometimes it's nice to have just a little bit lighter shade. Now I'm going to come in with my Night of Navy. Oh, there goes that shoulder again. So I'm just going to stamp my flower right on top here. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment above that in the left corner. So I want it to be low enough that it's not going to be hidden by the scallop. There we go. And then finally I have my flower here, which is going to be done in fresh freesia. And that also matches the designer series paper on this card. Oh. Excuse the moaning and groaning, folks. I'm sorry about that. Here we are. So there is my little flower, and this is just going to go right on top. So here's my silicone mat. And I can just go right over here with my tape. And I don't have to worry because it's on the silicone mat and the adhesive does not stick to it. And then this can go on top. Actually, I'm going to even do it backwards because it's easier to see just inside. My fingers are sticking to the mat here. There we go. Beautiful. So just get that inside the lines there so it's not going to show on the front. And there we go. All right. So now I can bring this in. This is going to be popped up with some dimensionals. Oh, Tracy, thank you. Yeah, it's a funny thing. All I can think of is I slept on it funny, or I don't know. I don't know when you pinch a nerve. What causes that? Okay, so here we go. So there is my thank you going in the center here. And now I'm going to use some of these butterflies And I think they just add a beautiful touch here. I'm going to have one coming in here and one up here and one down here. And there we go. So that is the front, but I still have my inside to do. So I think I'm going to just do another flower the same for the inside of the card here. So I'm going to go back to my garden green. And I'm going to actually have it kind of coming over to the side here. So I'm probably going to go off the edge. There. And then my outline. And then my center. Then I've got my flower outline. With the Night of Navy. Oh, it's going to just fit. Perfect. And then my inside. Oh, Jeanette, those butterflies are wonderful. They just add so much to a card. And here we go. Now, if I brought an envelope, I could have done the flower on the envelope too today, but I didn't bring an envelope over, so I'm just going to have to go with this for now. But I'm loving more and more making everything match, you know, card, inside, envelope, all together. Alrighty, so here we are. And that would make just a lovely thank you card. Now the second card that I'm going to do tonight I'm using a basic white card base, and this one is a landscape style card, and it's cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a parakeet party layer. Now I must remember to say this card was inspired by Mary Fish from Stampin' Pretty. Her card was not identical, but almost, although her color scheme was different and I switched up the foliage that I'm using. But I loved the beautiful simplicity and the contrast with this card, and so I couldn't resist making one. So here you go. Now I would not be a fan of Parakeet Party by itself, but when you do things and you put them together with some black, I just find the pop is irresistible. So for this, I need to remember what I'm doing here. I'm first going to add my, usually I say stamp first and then add your other things to the card. But in this instance, I want to put this on first so I can see where my sentiment goes, because when I did my original, I got the sentiment jammed a little too close in the center. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to break my rule, and I'm going to put the adhesive on here. If only I had like a silicone fingertip for doing this so that my fingers didn't stick to the glue either, like the mat. And as I do this, I'm getting the little dots coming out because I did not bother to poke them all out. And that was intentional, but they are flying all over the place. Maybe I should have. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So now our piece. Oh, and I didn't tell you what size this was either, did I? So the Parakeet Party was 4 by 5 1/4. The black cardstock was 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then the white piece, as I said before, was just 1 millimeter or 1/16 of an inch smaller than that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here, and this time I'm using Memento. I'm going to have to clean a stamp or a block here so I can get my sentiment onto a block. Yes, somebody needs to invent a silicone fingertip so that we can touch the glue without having it get in the way. All right, so this time I'm going to need the big one and the color. And I need my, I did just a note on the first one. I could do happy birthday on this one. Why don't I do a happy birthday? So for the happy birthday, it's going to go over here in the corner. I'm leaving enough room because I'm going to be adding some bling up there. So I don't want to go too close to the corner. Okay. Now, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to pull in my white cardstock and I'm going to stamp the outline here of the large flower. And then I'm going to stamp the outline of the smaller one. And then I also need the leaves. So for this one, I'm going to do these detailed lines on the leaves. Here we go. And then, let's see, I'm going to have to take that off of that one so that I can use it again. And I'm going to use the inside of the leaves as well. There we go. So for the inside of the leaves, I'm actually, not doing them in Parakeet Party. My flowers are going to be in the Parakeet Party. My leaves here are going to be in the black. I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going over top of these. There we go. And when I do this with a lighter, like less ink on the stamp, I try to give it some time, make sure it covers, and it did very well there. Okay, now I need my Parakeet Party ink. And I'm going to stamp over the large flower. No, I haven't got that going the right way. There we are. And I'm doing this full strength. because I want it to be nice and bright. There. Oh, I didn't get it all the way down. Let's see if I can. Will I get away with this? I'm going to try and just apply some more pressure there. And I think I can. Okay. And then I need the inside of the smaller flower. See, that's where I should have had my foam mat. All right. So we've got that. And that is my stamping. Now I have to decide, what do I want on the inside of this card? So I think I'm going to keep this really simple, and I'm just going to go with the large outline and the large flower down in the bottom. So I'm going to bring my black ink back. Now, I will say, as I'm doing this, I've seen a lot of these cards using both of the frames together. I was not a fan. To me, it was just a little fussy. You could do it, particularly if you perhaps popped the center one up with dimensionals and left the other one down, or vice versa. So what I'm talking about is using this frame inside this one. And I personally just think it's a bit too much. But you could do it. And I have also seen people cut the corners off of this so that the frame is actually the same shape as the stitching around there. So that is, I mean, you could do that. I liked it with the rectangles because I had all sharp angles on this card. So I don't know if you can see the stitching, but the stitching is in like an octagon shape instead of just in a rectangle shape there. It's got an angle. So now let's pull my parakeet party back here, and we'll go one more time. And just because, don't let me say I won't learn my lesson, I'm going to pull in this for this one. Yep. I thought I had it in the wrong spot there, but that's it. And there we go. Okay. Now let's start putting these things together. Oh, I got a splotch. Ratsy patsy. Okay. So this is going on the inside here. This is going on the outside. And this time I'm not putting the frame on dimensionals because I'm going to pop up the flower a little bit that's going on the front. So this is just going in the center. There we go. Now I am going to have to bring my die cutting machine in. I did as much as I could ahead because I know when I die cut it shakes the camera and it makes everything wonky. But I do need to die cut these. I had to stamp them first. So I've got my mini here. Okay, so I've got this die here, and this one, And this one. And we'll see if I can just do one pass through here and as little wobbling as possible. If you get seasick or anything, look away. I love this stamp set because of the black outlines. I think I mentioned that last week, but it's good in so many ways. Like, I love the simplicity of the lines for the flower images. I love it because the thickness of the line makes it easier for cutting out. And next week I'm going to show you another reason why I love those same wide lines. So anyway, yeah, the cards I'm going to do next week also take advantage of those wide lines. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to put this together. I'm going to start by just kind of arranging it. I've got the larger flower and the smaller one tucked underneath here a little bit. I've got the leaves at the bottom, down under here. And then I'm going to pull in, I still got little black bits on me. I'm going to pull in these pieces that were die cut, and I'm going to just tuck them in around here. 1 and 2 and 3. So I kind of sort of know where things are going. So I'm going to pull these out to start with, pull this down, and I'm going to start with my largest flower popped up with a dimensional kind of central here. It's my main focus. So where did I tuck my dimensionals? Here they are, under the butterflies. Okay. I'm not using a ton of dimensionals to start off with because I want to leave room for me to be wiggling things around under here. So that's kind of important. I don't want to make it so that I can't slide things in. Now the second thing I'm going to put here is this one, because it's got to be fit onto the card base here so that it's going to stay inside. It can go over the black, but it can't go over the edge of my card. So I'm going to put it in and I'm going to tape it down next. Just going to take some tear and tape here if I can get it to go on and stick it under there. And I can't, I'm just going to make the piece smaller because I can't seem to get it there. And then see where this can go and be hidden. This is going on top. So I think I can put a little piece maybe over this away, just to help hold that down. Now another dimensional. And this is going right over top there. Then I'm going to bring this piece down underneath and it's going to lie flat. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on here. And slide it under like so. And then these pieces are also going to be tucked under. So I'm going to have to, that's why the seal is better here because I want to be able to lift it and tuck here. I don't want it to be so stuck down that I can't get this. Actually, this one can go over top. I did the other one under. This one can go over top. So I'm going to add a glue dot. And I'm actually going to put the glue dot on the top here of my piece. And then when I tuck this under, it will adhere right there. And then I can just take another couple little wee bits. So I take my glue dot and I'm literally going to pull it apart with my fingers. And I'm going to just take it and I'm going to tuck it underneath here, just tiny bits to help hold these pieces down so that when I'm putting it in my envelope or whatever, they don't come loose and get folded or bent out of shape or whatever the case might be, because we want that to stay in place. One for down here. And there we go. All right, so the last bit, I have two kinds of black dots. These are, these were just matte black dots, and these were classic matte dots. I know these are current. I'm not sure about these, but we're going to use them. So I'm going to take a large one and stick it up here, and then a smaller one up here, and then another large one, I think, to wait over here. Although maybe, let me see. I think this one is better. The other card had more space there, and I think this is going to work better. So let me show you just a little bit of a comparison here. This was my original, which I did with the Just a Note. And you can see how I got Just a Note a little too far over here. I've got all these little bits of fur flying in here, and they're marking up my space. So this one got a little too far over, but I did have more room on this side in order to put a dot there. So this one I used a medium because this looked like a smaller space, but there we go. So that is those two cards. I noticed I had this one turned. I wonder if I can turn it a bit. It's pretty well stuck. I think I'm going to leave it. Don't mess with it. Okay. And then here are the other cards, the thank you and the hello there. So I hope you like those cards tonight. I really like them. And I had a lot of fun making them. This is a great bundle that I think you'd go back to again and again. There are a lot of dies in here to use. I've got actually two sheets of them. I'm going to pull them back in so you can see. Sticking here. Got one more hiding underneath here somewhere. Where's my other? Oh, there it is. Here it is. Okay. My other flower. So there's actually two sheets of dies. That's a lot of dies with this bundle. I used last week the ribbon die and had a lot of fun with that. This week I've used the frames. And next week I have another surprise for you. So I'll put those away for now. And then the stamp set. And the stamp set has quite a few sentiments. It's also got friend, hello there, count me among all the people who are here for you, as well as the Just a Note, thank you, and happy birthday. So Oh, and you're not here. I hate that. So lots of great choices for sentiments. And you can, I'm sure you could add others and switch out and just increase the versatility of that stamp set as well. Thanks for being with me, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed it. The products that I've used are available in my online store. I've put the current host code in the description of the video, I think, although I hummed and hawed. I don't know whether I put it in or took it out. But anyway, as I said, thanks so much for being here. I hope you'll join me next Tuesday. But remember, in 2 weeks, there will not be a live on Tuesday. There will be a paper pumpkin box unboxing on the Friday. Okay? Take care. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.